Northeast Nebraska hospital had to make a major changes after an explosion that happened last October. Now they should be returning to normal tomorrow. That's right, Avera St. Anthony's Hospital in O'Neill, Nebraska. The building was damaged after an explosion at the nearby St. Patrick's Catholic Church campus. Because of this, the hospital had been operating in a repurposed space in the inpatient area. Now, the hospital says it will transition to its original location tomorrow. The president and CEO of the hospital released a statement saying, "We are preparing for a seamless transition from the current space to the new one, but we ask that the public offer us grace that day in the event we encounter unforeseen challenges." The president also said the patients and support of the community has really meant a lot to hospital staff the last 4 months.